And just like that, it's Monday. What is it? It's the 9th. Where's the year going, right? Where's it gone? I don't know. Zooming by. Hello, everybody. I'm Russ Kane. What's left of him this Monday morning? Welcome to the midday show with myself, my good friend, my good colleague, the man of mirth, the funniest man within a 3.7-mile radius of Neil Long.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
See, I stopped myself. I stopped myself from, anything detrimental. Just positivity, baby. Positivity all the way. You were away this weekend, somewhere rather
Yes,
bland.
I was.
I'd love to hear all about it.
Well, I was in Amsterdam with my girlfriend.
Did you know she was tagging along?
Yeah, she wouldn't let me go alone.
Why? I couldn't imagine what could possibly happen in Amsterdam to a young, single rooster-dooster like yourself.
Well, I'm not young and I'm not single.
Well, you are. You're not married. See, you're not married. So technically,
I don't think that one will fly. No, it's really
applies to me, boy. Anyway,
I mean,
go on.
You've been to Amsterdam, presumably, obviously.
Not for a very, very long time. Should we dash across to the middle of Spain on the farm? Hello from wet and flooded Spain. That's Chrissy Richards. Hi, Chrissy.
Morning,
Chrissy. Join us. Yeah, wet and flooded. It's funny enough, I had to do a Zoom call for a monstrous wedding that I'm doing in June, and the people were in Spain in a car wrapped up like Nanook of the North just now.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, back to Amsterdam.
What do you want to know?
Everything. Obviously, the whole 9
Do you know what's banned? Do you know what's not allowed there? Do you know what's illegal there?
The midday show.
No.
Keir
Vaping.
Starmer.
Vaping.
What is? Vaping.
Vaping.
Can't you go into shops and smoke marijuana and get off your face?
That's the thing. You can smoke Class B drugs on the street. You can imbibe incredible amounts of alcohol. You can have a giant butt plug stuck where the sun doesn't shine. But vaping is banned in the country.
Can you explain the logic of this if you can take drugs? I don't understand it.
I don't understand it. But apparently nicotine vapes are banned all across Holland.
So you were screwed, in other words.
Well, not really, because I took my own and I suddenly felt like a criminal doing it on the street. But you can light up a spliff, no problem at all.
I don't understand this logic at all. This is the mad logic of the Dutch. Hello from the sunny elven glades of Surbiton, darkness to the east over New Mordor. They shall not pass.
Good morning, fella.
So this is, but did you vape or you didn't vape? It's all right. The Dutch authorities are unlikely to come to your house.
No, I did vape, but I felt like a criminal doing that on the street. I was thinking, should I not be doing this?
Are there signs that you shouldn't? I'm very confused. Are there signs?
Well, there's signs
get off
saying
your face on drugs, but don't vape.
There's signs saying don't smoke cannabis on the street, but everyone does. There's signs saying don't drink alcohol on the street.
Yeah.
But people don't.
Does. Oh, they don't?
No, people don't. And then there's the whole legalized prostitution thing, which was interesting.
How does that work out for you?
Do you know the average length of a visit to a prostitute?
About 4 minutes, including getting a pizza and waiting for an Uber.
Between 6 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Bish, bash, bosh. Thank you very much.
We went to the Prostitution Museum. Why is that funny?
That is the most random thing I'm going to hear all week, and I got a very heavy week of meetings. But I went to the Prostitute Museum.
Well, I did.
What was that?
I learned all about it. Between 6 and 15 minutes, and also know how much for an erotic massage with a happy ending. If you care to know, I just found these things out.
Do you get discount? Can you get? Hang on, Ian is saying this.
You can't scan your club card, mate.
Oh, what? You can't get like you know your little thing, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
No. What about my Costco card? Would that work?
No, it probably wouldn't. My
Tesco club card, would that work?
No.
What's the point then?
You don't. I think they've got it right though. As long as the women aren't trafficked, and there are systems in place to stop that.
Okay.
It does seem to be what they want to be doing, and they're protected, and they're not here in the UK. It's a lot less sleazy out there, actually, when it's legalized and regulated, in my humble opinion. I think they've got it right.
We're going from Spain. We've gone from Spain to Surbiton. Now we're going up to Fife in Scotland. Well, Susley. Good afternoon to everybody. Shikoshi doing Pride weekend. It's insane. I'll pass on that, but thanks, Sue. I have zero interest in Pride parades, but thank you. I'm sure it's absolutely bonkers. So in the prostitute museum, what have you got? What's in the cases?
Well, it's kind of a history of prostitution,
okay.
where it came from, how long it's been going on, which is a very long time.
You know where it came from.
A very long time.
Yep.
Basically, what's what people get up to, and there's plenty. Been going on since the Victorian era, at least.
Been going on what, in Amsterdam, you mean, or generally?
Well, generally, they were quite saucy.
Generally, it was going on since Roman times.
Yeah, well, it's been going on everywhere. I saw some Victorian porn. All right, and much as they like to tell you, they're all stiff upper lip and very gentrified.
Well, something was stiff, but it wasn't the upper lip.
Yeah, exactly. And then, to be serious, went to Anne Frank Museum. Now that really makes you think.
Yes, that's a bit of a swerve in the conversation.
Yeah, from I came out of there thinking, have we learned?
Nothing.
have we learned as a human race? Optimistically, I'd say some of us have.
They would do it over. I've said this always on the radio. I've said it. They would do it again in a heartbeat. You know it. I know it. Yes, they would. And Sue Sleet, what are the chances of getting somebody else called Sleet coming on the show? Greetings, one and all, for Dave B. Sleet. He's been demoted this week. I've decided, for no other reason than I don't know why he does Dave A. Sleet. You know, it's Dave Sleet. Dave Asleet. I think there should be, what do you call it? An apostrophe. So it'd be more medieval. Dave Asleet with an A apostrophe Sleet. So it's all one word. That'd be classy.
So yes, it was quite eye-opening, shall we say?
When you went to the Anne Frank Museum, presumably very busy there, it always is. I had the honour of being the trustee of the Anne Frank charity for a while. It was a huge honour, a massive responsibility. Very moving. Very moving,
incredibly
right?
moving. It just makes I felt so. Do you know what I did? They had the old black and white photos there of the people that were involved in it, and what they did to survive. And I just looked into their eyes, and all I saw was humanity, and it was shocking. It was, and in a scale of history, it's not really that long ago.
Kind of yesterday, and they'd love it to be today. That's the point. That's the honest truth of it. They'd love it to come back.
I mean, just the sheer idea of. I mean, it's just awful.
Yep, and we've learned absolutely nothing. And
no, I think some of us have learned. Surely. No,
I don't think so. You look at social media, you look at the rape gangs, you look at everything else. They've learned nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was all for nothing. Ghastly. They'll do it again in the heartbeat. I keep saying
that.
The same people with the same warped, crazy ideology. All the people who cheered for October 7th, they'd do it again.
But what about, I mean, just plain old humanity, and why?
I've given up on that.
I just don't understand it. Call me giddy-headed and naive if you like, but I just don't understand it.
Because it's inbred hatred. You look at the lunatics in Gaza. It's inbred hatred. You look at the so-called MPs who should never be MPs, ever be MPs, not born in the country, have no interest in the Brits. Look at what the filth they spew. Look at every march that this revolting mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, the worst mayor we've ever had in living memory in London, in England, because you're watching all over the world. You look at those hate marches that have gone on for year after year that have been allowed by the mayor, been allowed by the Metropolitan Police. And when Christians wanted a march, it was banned. And the next weekend, another hate march. There will be the biggest revolution this country has seen since Oliver Cromwell. It will happen. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because the pendulum swing will be brutal. Brutal. Be horrible.
Well, I'm not sure what to say, but all these people that go on these hate marches, I would defy them to go and...
They wouldn't care.
See what happened to Anne Frank.
You know what they would say? But Longie, they would say they had it coming. They couldn't care less. They could care. This is my projection of what's going to happen.
Well, I find it incomprehensible. Sorry.
Of course it is. Absolutely it's horrific. It's horrific. And you would have thought that they could have put a line under it all and moved on after World War II. No, absolutely not. The same hatred, lunacy, madness by fanatics. They're fanatics. They're absolute fanatics. They have no place in a rational world because they're just mad. And Ian's point is absolutely right. Ian's saying humanity is fine as long as you're the correct human, because that's their mantra. Yeah.
Well, that's a bit like saying some people are more equal than others.
Yeah, it's ghastly. This is my prediction that this government eventually will be voted out. They will cling on with every last little fingernail to what they can see as power. They are the most corrupt, and I'm not a fan of the Tories either, but this is the most corrupt bunch of, they're disgusting. Disgusting. Come the next election, the Labour Party, you're talking to yourself. There's no one there. Neil, there's no one there.
No, I wasn't. I was talking to my producer.
I know. I'm just being silly. This is what I think. This is what I think is going to happen. See what you think. That in 4 years' time, there'll be a general election. Reform will come in. The Labour Party will be obliterated. They'll be wiped off the political map. There'll be nothing left. All of those creeps will lose their seats. Don't worry, they'll be fine. They'll go back. They'll go into the corporate world. You know, you look at them, they always bounce back. They're made of Teflon, these ghastly, ghastly people. And then the British people will have a mandate. And then the pushback will be horrible because they'll introduce ICE. They will, without doubt, they'll introduce the equivalent of what they got in America now under Trump. They'll introduce ICE, which is required and needed here. Then the riots will start because the ICE people, whoever they may be, won't be the Metropolitan Police because they're compromised. Be completely different units, and people will volunteer for it. And ICE will come, and they will start mass deportations, and then the rioting will start. And if you think they're not armed, you are living in cloud cuckoo land. If you think they're not prepared and armed to the teeth, you're mad. So that's what's going to happen. It's horrible. It's a horrible thought. By that time, I will have left London. For sure. I will not want to be here when that happens. It'll be brutal.
No, I understand.
It'll be brutal. And then you'll get lunatics who will feel emboldened, start burning mosques and doing all sorts of terrible things, which should never, ever, ever happen. Let me be very clear. But I think certain quarters will be emboldened by it. But this mess we're in now cannot continue. Cannot continue. And I think it's the first time that I can think of, and I'm older than you, so I've been around a while, where everyone's going, yes, Starmer's got to go. Yeah, Starmer's dead in the water. Starmer's been dead in the water for a long time. It's just awful. But if he goes, which he will, his position is untenable. And when he goes, then they have to say, well, who's going to replace him? So you've got that.
Well, this is what I think. Who would do any better?
They're all shocking.
We need someone with humane values, not divisive, not this us versus them. That's the problem.
Well, the number one is going to be, I mean, he stopped
history,
Andy Burnham. He stopped Andy Burnham. Then you've got that awful woman, Rayner, who should never be allowed anywhere near politics, Angela Rayner.
Because
you can redo your hair as many times as
throughout history, you have this idea of one group of people being better than another. And that gives them, they think, carte blanche to treat what they see as the others, how they see fit. But
it's crazy. Ian, I don't agree with this at all. Ian's saying this. The problem with ICE is they are the equivalent of the brown shirts. For God's sake, no, they're not. It didn't end well for them when the real nasties take power. You cannot equate, for God's sake, Ian, you can't equate Trump and Farage with Adolf Hitler. This is just childish. It's childish. You know, Ian, and I know there are hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants. It's illegal. You've entered the country illegally. Knowingly doing that, arriving in your little rubber boat on the Kent coast, coming in the back of a lorry. You're in the country illegally, taking huge advantage of social services, etc., etc. We could talk for hours about why it has been allowed. Have you seen the breaking story about McSweeney's father? Probably not. Have you seen it?
No.
Do you know who McSweeney is?
I only heard the name this morning. Remind me.
Well, he's not the guy who makes the haggis, that's for sure, which is great, by the way. McSweeney's haggis is delicious. McSweeney was Starmer's right-hand bloke, and he resigned. He went because Starmer basically threw him under the bus to save his own skin, right? And then their breaking story in Ireland, the McSweeney's father, this is the story that's breaking, but he's threatening to sue, but it's all over the media that you don't see because you can't watch the BBC News because they're just utterly compromised. McSweeney's father was paid something like 6.2 million to effectively house immigrants.
Okay.
That's a big chunk of change, fella. Look up the story. The story is extraordinary. Quite extraordinary. And you think, no wonder they don't want to stop it. Look, with everything in life, we've got a very mature audience. I don't mean in terms of mature in the way they think, right? Mature. With any situation, you follow the money. You think, why is this happening? You follow the money. All of the illegal immigration situations, someone is making fortunes out of this. Millions and millions and millions of pounds. Millions of pounds. Because with every situation in life, you think, oh, that's odd. That doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense for the average citizen. Because someone's making millions. That's why. Would you like to read Ian's comment? Does it come up on your screen, Neil?
Yeah, it has. Ian says, what I meant is people think they're getting one thing, whilst those who want real power work behind the scenes, getting what they want. Trump and Farage are not Hitler, but the path might be made for one.
Well, Ian.
Which comes back to what I said earlier. Have we learned?
No, we haven't. Because Ian, it's I hear what you're saying. But you look at the people pulling the strings now. You don't see them. You don't honestly think it's Starmer, do you? You don't honestly think it's Starmer. When Joe Biden was in power, do you honestly think that man who clearly had dementia, do you think he was pulling the strings of power? Of course he wasn't. He was being told what to do. Or, the auto pen. You know what the auto pen is. It's literally an automatic pen because the guy wasn't up to even signing documents. It's all about being a pendulum. I feel so strongly about this. I'm sorry. It's kind of more of a serious show than I thought we were going to have. I thought we were going to talk about Amsterdam and comedy, but, you know, we go with the flow, right, Neil? We go with the flow. It's all about a pendulum. I don't know how many times I've said this. The pendulum at the moment has gone like this, right? So far extreme that you could, you know, men could be women, women could be men. They can't. This is all madness.
But the point is, when the pendulum swings back, it'll go too far.
Of course.
The other way.
Yes.
And you'll end up with the opposite problem.
Yes.
Almost bad.
I'm with you 100%. This is what I've been banging on about for years. That pendulum doesn't swing back to balance. It swings right the other way. It swings right the other way. And that you don't want that. And then it'll eventually balance out. But when it swings the other way, do you think that's going to be pleasant? It's going to be horrendous. It's going to be horrible. So I take Ian's point, and you hit the nail on the head, and this is always my point, that the other way round will be ghastly. Nobody wants that. People just want to get on with their lives. That's all. People just want to get on with their lives, not live in fear. You know, it would be nice to go through. It would be nice to go through London. Right. This is not a London-centric show, but I live in London. Neil lives in London. Okay. You know, it'd be nice to live in London thinking you could wear a nice watch without fear. I don't. They're in a safe. It'd be nice to think you could get your phone out. And so I don't do that either. It stays in my pocket. I won't get my phone out when I'm walking through London. Not anymore. Because it's all been compromised. It's all been compromised. And there's so many factors at play. Why? Why isn't Rupert Lowe's investigation into the rape gangs? They're not grooming. Can we stop calling them grooming gangs? They're rape gangs. That's what they are. They are Pakistani rape gangs. They're not grooming gangs. His inquiry, not being covered by the BBC. Gosh, I wonder why. Not even being covered by mainstream media. And the witnesses and what they're saying is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. It is beyond horrific. This should be the absolute number one story. It ain't. And you know why? You know why? Why? Doesn't serve their agenda. Doesn't serve the BBC agenda. That's why. Doesn't serve their agenda. Doesn't serve mainstream media agenda. Doesn't serve the Guardian's agenda. It's shocking. Rupert Lowe has done more. Rupert Lowe has done more than this government and the last government have done combined. Guy's a hero for what he's trying to do. To shine a light on something which is a national disgrace. A national disgrace that's been covered up from the very top to the very bottom. Been concealed, lied about, and covered up. And everybody complicit in this, police, councillors, everybody, politicians, should all be on trial and in jail. And that's where it should be. Yeah, GB News. Absolutely right. I'm not a huge fan of GB. Yeah, GB News. They do what they do. They do what it says on the tin, you know. And with this, and they give stupid example. Starmer goes to China, right? And he goes on about how he's going to sort out this dissident and get him free. The guy's just been banged up this morning for 20 years. So much for your diplomacy skills. I despair. You know.
What did he get banged up for 20 years for?
God only knows. It's China, probably looking at somebody the wrong way, you know. Who knows? They're not nice people. I mean, they're brilliant, but they're not particularly nice. They're brilliant engineers. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. Stuff coming out of there is jaw-dropping. Their technology is sensational. Wow. Did you do comedy over the weekend? No, you didn't. You were away. Why did you choose to go to Amsterdam? What's that you thought?
Just for an adventure. Just for a mini adventure. Just to soak it all up and see what it was like.
And had you been before?
Yeah, ages ago.
Yeah, I went when I was a kid. I mean, literally, I was like...
We stayed right in the middle of the red light district in this really nice place.
Did you make any money, when you were standing in the window?
No, funny enough, I didn't.
You see, now you've shocked me. You've shocked me. I thought you would be able to, buy a nice flattened can on the process.
No. Funnily enough, my body wasn't particularly in demand, but that's okay.
Can I ask you a question? I'm going to go. You wouldn't do this on other. You wouldn't. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, absolutely. Ian is absolutely right. China gave Starman nothing. Of course they didn't. And Xi plays poker with his maid in China. Of course he does. Oh, Kimmy Lashmar. Hi, Kimmy. Did you go to a diamond factory? Great gems. Did you do that?
I did see some lovely gems while I was there, but not that kind.
Yay! Wah, 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 wah. Tell me something. I want to ask you a question.
Come on.
I know you well enough over 30 years. I can ask you this question. You were staying in the red light district, and I remember as a kid, I don't know, maybe 15 or something, and I was with mum and dad, and we went to Amsterdam. I was so embarrassed. I mean, you're with your parents, right? So of course
it's going to be embarrassing, yeah.
But I find that I'm very uncomfortable. I get it. I'm talking about just me as an individual guy. I get so embarrassed by it. I'm not comfortable with it at all. Like, I don't like strip clubs or anything like that. Lap dancing. Not for me. Just don't like it. How did you feel? You're going down, there's women in the window like it's Ann Summers come to life, sort of thing.
I felt a little bit sorry for them, to be honest with you. Yeah, very beautiful girls, a lot of them. I felt a little sorry for them, but I'm also glad it's regulated. And, there's obviously trafficking is highly illegal. I would be very uncomfortable with that.
Oh,
but I wish they'd do something. We're also sexually repressed in the UK. They probably wouldn't make those changes, and consequently, sex workers are put in unnecessary danger. And it doesn't happen in Amsterdam when you legalise and regulate it. Same with cannabis.
I get that emotion. I feel a pal of mine has a string of hang on, there's lots of nice things coming in. Then I'm just going to tell you something. Could you read these out? Would you mind?
Sure. Kimmy says, when I went with my mum, we put the TV on in our hotel, and there was John Cleese talking to a nude man about safe sex.
Oh dear God.
I could just imagine John Cleese doing that brilliantly. In Malaysia, says Ian, I needed my haircut. It seems a barbers with 2 seats and 8 girls gives more than a haircut.
The mind boggles. This is how kind of strangely naive, or maybe
I guess you just have it all off, Ian. Sorry? I'm here all week.
A pal of mine has a chain of. He's always been in clubs and discos back in the day when you had discos, and probably one of the number one club owners in London. Yeah, Neil, 1-0 to Neil, absolutely. We're going to change ends now and eat oranges. And anyway, so he has these lap dancing clubs, which I said to him in naivety, I said, do you have trouble finding girls to do this? I mean, I'm very uncomfortable with it. Not from a moral standpoint. I couldn't care less. I'm personally, because I'm quite shy. And you wouldn't think so, but I don't like that sort of thing. And for me, I'm not saying generally. And he said, do I have trouble? He says, I get 1,000 applicants a week. I'm like, what? He says, I get 1,000 applicants writing to me to come and work in my clubs. And I said, how come? Right? That's not the best phrase. And he said, because they make a fortune. They make an absolute fortune. And on a good night, not week, on a good night, some of the girls can make 3, 4, 5 grand a night. And I'm not talking about being prostitutes. Be very clear. I am not talking about prostitutes or call girls or escorts, call them whatever fancy pants title you want. I'm talking about just dancing and all that sort of stuff. I couldn't wait to leave. Every time he says, "Oh, let's have dinner," I said, "Look, I really like you. We're good mates. I'm happy to have dinner. I don't want to go to the club. All right, I don't, because I'm not comfortable with it. People who know me well think that's very weird, considering my life. But I'm not comfortable with it."
A friend of mine used to work in a rock bar, and it was half rock bar, half strip bar. And I'd go down and see him, and I'd end up talking to some of the girls that worked at the strip bar, and he just talked to them like human beings.
Of course.
No big deal.
But it's very hard when people are wearing like 2 bits of floss and stilettos, 2 bits of dental floss. It's kind of hard to have a normal conversation.
Can I tell you a funny story?
I'd love it.
So I was in the strip bar, right?
Where was it? Near Surbiton or something? Seriously,
no, it no longer exists now. It was down the Kingston Road, a place called the Robert Peel. And I just sort of
named after a policeman.
Went in there for a couple of minutes just for the hell of it. So I did. And I managed to get myself surrounded by all the scantily clad girls and ignoring every other bloke in the room, and all clustered around me.
Because
and the other blokes in the room hated me. Do you know how I did it?
No.
Well, it wasn't a very classy place. They'd come round with a cup, and people would put £1 in the cup, and then they collect what they could, then go and do a dance, keep the money, rinse, repeat. So they came around to me and held the cup out in front of me, and I went, "I can't give any money." And they said, "Well, why?" I said, "Because I'm gay." And then suddenly I was the absolute focus of attention of all these delightful, scantily clad looking girls clustered around me.
Were they trying to change your sexual orientation?
And the look on the other blokes' faces in the club was absolutely priceless. They hated me for it because they couldn't do that.
I know what it is. I've thought about why I'm uncomfortable with it. I've thought about it a lot,
True story. Obviously, I couldn't get any action because I convinced them I was gay by this point.
But then
which
you
I'm not.
could have said, "It's a miracle. I realize now, after a lifetime of being gay, that I fancy you." And they would think this was like Lazarus rising from the dead. They would be thrilled. Yeah. You could have thought of that. That would have been great. And they'd have told all their friends in the Ukraine or Czechoslovakia or wherever the hell they came from.
A lot of the girls were supporting themselves, putting themselves through college, actually.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. Of course they're doing that. Or they're studying for a degree and they're getting, they've got to pay rent and everything like that. And if you can make 3 to 5 grand a night because some sad bastard wants to watch you gyrate, fair enough. Good for you.
They weren't making 3 grand a night here.
I don't, because they were making up Kingston. On the Kingston Road with a cup. Jesus Christ, with a cup.
Yeah, they probably made £100 in a session if they were lucky.
One boy in dance club with footed girls. It's not full.
Ian, there's no flies on me, mate. I'm not silly.
That is very, very funny. No, you're very brave. Very brave. I'm really uncomfortable with those things. I was once in Canada, right? I must have told you this story. And I'm in Canada. It's bloody freezing outside. Absolutely snowing like crazy. Mm. And I'm in Vancouver. And the guy with said, "Let's go to a club." Okay. So we went to a club. And he's looking at all the girls. And I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, so this is all very nice, but I think I'd like to go back to the hotel and just leave." And I'm standing by the bar having a Jack Daniels or something. And this girl comes up to me wearing sod all, basically. And I go, because it was basically, I said, with my great wit, I thought, well, she's standing right there. You've got to say something. I said, "Aren't you a bit chilly?" She says, "I'm from Macclesfield. We don't feel cold." What are the chances I'm in Vancouver and the stripper's from Macclesfield? just made me laugh. So we talked about the north. When she realised I knew where Macclesfield was and not the north of England, we had all these jokes about get on big court and all that stuff. We just had a laugh, which was great.
Exactly. And did you feel uncomfortable then?
Yeah, kind of. You know, I don't know where. It's just me. I'm kind of quite private in these matters. Yeah, I know I've had an extremely checkered past, putting it mildly, but those things in public, I'm not very. I'm just not comfortable with it. It's just me. I don't morally object to it in the least. Knock yourself out. Have a great time. You know. My pal with his clubs they're run with very correctly. The women are in charge. The women look after the other women. Let's be very clear. All that sort of stuff, all the safety, all the health and safety, and safety is always in place. It's always in place, which is how it should be. Not like the old days, but that's good. And you could argue it's very empowering for women. I don't know, being ogled at, but hey, what the hell? It's none of my business. None of my business. Which go back to Amsterdam. How was the food?
Nice. What I can remember of it.
Was lager involved by any chance?
Lager, and I might have
had one or two truckloads of. And did your other half have fun? Did she enjoy it? That's the main thing.
I think so. What she remembers of it.
She does. Did she remember you? That's the main thing.
Saturday.
Like, who the hell are you?
We were.
What like to be here?
We were kind of imbibing quite a lot, shall we say? I've still got the hangover today.
Have you? I had a very lovely family event this weekend, and it was very charming and very lovely. I was very, very proud of the family. So well done to all of them. It was great. It was really very, very nice, and it was lovely to see everybody, see a lot of old friends, a lot of old family members that I don't see, and it was sweet. It was very, very sweet. It was lovely. Ian is now saying it's nice family. My friends are more important, but I love my family. Ian says, I've never been to a
strip club. My only claim to fame is staying in a nursing home. Many sites there rival any strip club. I think I beg to differ with you, Ian, to be honest with you.
I think you're slightly led astray there, Ian, in Surbiton. If I may be so bold, I don't think trying to liken a nursing home to a strip club is quite the same thing. You spend a lot of time being a DJ and everything like that.
Yes.
You do that, and I can't do that. I don't have the skill, nor it's not what I do. And you do. And anyway, at this lovely event on Saturday, there was a DJ. And why my throat is a bit like this is because everything was so loud because it was aimed at little kids, right? And then old farts like me come along. And it's aimed at the little kids who are absolutely adoring it. They're all about 13 and they're just having a whale of a time on the dance floor. It's great. And of course the music is, to me, deafening. And then you haven't seen people for quite a while in the family. They want to talk to you and they want to catch up and want to yak and talk about, stuff like that. And it's impossible because not all of our hearing is as sharp as it used to be. And the noise is so I don't know how you do it.
Well, it's a thing called DJ-itis. You always want to play it very loudly, but I'm sometimes criticised for playing it too loudly. Then again, my audience are getting older, so maybe that's it.
What's the average age of your audience, would you say? Look at that. He's brought somebody back from Amsterdam. Now she's trying to get out of his house. It's guaranteed. That's what's
not now, Olga. I'll be done in half an hour.
Okay. Which is 25 minutes more than you lasted in the House of Ill Repute.
Excuse me, I did not go to a House of Ill Repute. I just looked.
just stood in the street looking up wistfully.
No, I paid £100 to watch.
Oh, God. Oh.
No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
Not true.
Why was Ian living in a nurse's home where nurses
I'm
live?
intrigued.
Why? How did he pull that one off? How did he do that? Were they all like,
Interesting
Barbara Windsor? Were they all wandering around like Barbara? Oh, sometimes you just get time.
Yeah, I love you, man, but you're weird.
Well, you've only just worked that one out, right? It just worked out that he's a bit weird. Do you get affected by the weather? Does the weather make you blue?
Can do.
Yeah, this recent weather's put me in a bit of a.
If it's really dull and grey for
it's put me in a bit of a funk. Although I'm spending most of my life just staring at a screen and writing the whole, hours and hours and hours a day. But it's interesting. Now, I was talking about you today on my Zoom call to Spain.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been hired to conduct a massive wedding in the summer, which is nice. And the people happen to be in Spain, where they have to spend months on the business that they do. And one guy works in I'm going to keep it as neutral as I can. One person lives in trains in a certain sport, trains other people in a certain sport. That's the group, the man who's going to be the group. And the fiance, it turned out in the middle of our conversation, was a clinical psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Can you see where we're going with this? And I said, putting on my best Neil Longie Long hat, I said, I bet you're a great team because you actually train them in the physicality of this particular sport. And I bet you have to ensure mentally that they're in tip-top shape and they know they can do it. And then we got into this whole thing about the inner critic. I meant to be discussing the wedding ceremony and what we're going to be doing for this vast thing. And I ended up talking about the inner critic, the inner voice. And I talked about you and your thumb thing. She thought that was great, by the way.
That's really appealed, hasn't it, to you, that one?
Well, it's very clever because it's simple and it's effective and it works. And I said, this is what we talk about on the show, and then give it that stupid little inner critic, the voice of Joe Pasquale or something that's really annoying. And you can't take it. And she was sitting there, she's a fully qualified clinical psychiatrist. And she's like, yeah. I think she was quite surprised that we talked about such things.
Well, the thing is, it's quite controversial, and I'm not saying, no, how can I put this? I've got to get this absolutely right. NLP is not always popular with psychiatrists because sometimes it can work so fast and so quickly, they kind of get a bit pissed off.
What, you're taking my job away from me, sort of thing? Is that right?
Potentially. Now, I'm not saying these aren't wonderful, trained, professional people.
Yeah.
But the things that are taught in NLP, they might not get in their training. It's just quick interventions like that.
Yeah.
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 All the time they're focused on why, they're missing the point. It's NLP is how. How is that person doing that in their head to create that experience? And then how can you intervene and change it so they do something different in their head and therefore create a different experience?
But there's two things here. I think you got to help me because you're much more versed in it.
Not really. I'm only a layperson.
But you've read it. I haven't bothered to read it, but you've read it and studied it. And I've always been very clear I haven't. There's two things. If there's a real issue, there's two approaches. But correct me if I've got this wrong, but it's kind of key to what we talk about a lot. One is why have you got this issue? And then part B is, how do I deal with it?
If the thing is what traditional psychiatry was doing, before NLP came along. I mean, the stories they would tell you, there was like 150 different schools of psychiatry and nobody could solve the problems.
Correct.
Because there was 150 different ways that didn't work, because they were all focused on why. And in that kind of Freudian model of things, if you could just keep going deep and deeper, deep enough and find out why, it was assumed there'd be some sort of cathartic release and it would all go away. Nice idea, didn't work. You might know why you've got the problem now when you didn't know why before, but you've still got the problem. Now, NLP.
Well, can I jump in just for a sec? I'm so sorry. Just put the brakes on that thing. I honestly believe once you understand why, what is the cause, you know what the effect is, but you're struggling. Why is this happening to me? Why do I feel this way? And once you have a really good understanding of why that is, I think you can say, okay, I get that. I get it now. So that does help.
It's helpful, but you don't want to get stuck there, because that was what the old school were doing. It was basically finding out why, and then you pay your money, go out the door, still with the problem, but you now know why you've got it. NLP came along and said, well, no, let's change the how of what's going on in your head. Let's change the pictures. Let's change the sounds. Let's put it outside of us. Let's do all that and create a different experience. So it was very, very quick. And things that could take months were now taking minutes.
Years. Let's be honest, years.
Or years months, were now sometimes taking minutes. So
you know, the problem with NLP is it's one of those things where you think it's too good to be true. It's like, this should be a process that takes a long time.
Well, that's a belief.
How can I be fixed?
We talk a lot about belief systems. That's a belief that change has to be slow and painful is a belief, but not necessarily.
No, my podcast partner, as you know,
Mark Collin,
Mark Collin.
He would tell you the same, I'm sure.
He thinks the opposite. He can fix it. I'm using the word fix. It's a very crude term, forgive me, but you know what I mean. Quickly, rather than years of analysis. I don't go along with the years of analysis.
Look, you use this as a metaphor. You're sitting in front of a computer, right?
Yeah.
And let's say it's got a virus.
Well, let's not, but okay.
And let's liken that virus to a psychological problem. Now, it doesn't matter whether that virus has been in there 20 minutes or 20 years. Once it's removed, once the cause of the problem is removed, the computer will work again fine.
Yeah. Okay.
So it doesn't have to go through years of analysis to find out why it's got the virus. That, from that point of view, it doesn't really matter that much why it's got the virus. It's just how to get the virus out, how to change the programming. And once that's done, it doesn't have to be long and arduous. And it doesn't matter, as I say, if it's 20 years or 20 minutes or 20 seconds.
I get that, but there is a curiosity. No. I intellectually I understand it, but there is a curiosity of what has caused this to happen. But if I continue with your virus thing, you don't want to know, well, in a factory, Fred Smith was having a big domestic dispute at home and took his thing by putting viruses in the discs and, you know, whatever it used to be in the old days, or something.
Let me put it this way. Go on. Just finding out why is not enough to cure things. And that's where old school psychology fell down. It's useful to know why, maybe, and a relief, and certainly a relief to know you're not the only one and you don't feel as isolated. Absolutely. 100%. I'm not saying take that away. I'm just saying it's not the whole enchilada. It's not the be all and end all. And knowing why is not necessarily a cure.
So the cure is,
it's doing something different.
Yeah. Just doing something different?
Doing something different that serves you better given what it is that you want. Every behavior has got a positive intention. So a good NLP practitioner would find out what that positive intention is and give you healthier ways of doing it. silly example, people are drinking too much to relax. Okay, but you could relax by walking a mile every day. So you've changed the strategy to get the same effect.
Yeah. That's
right?
Interesting. Yeah, I get that. That's interesting.
So it's just giving you a different strategy. Most people's intentions are good, but they're not using good strategies. That's a classic one, drinking too much to relax.
With the drinking thing, if you enjoy a drink, I'm always careful to never say, I need a drink, because that's opening a pathway that's not good. Putting it mildly. I would say, I fancy a drink because I like to have a drink, rather than
then you're using it. Rather, it's not so much what you're doing; it's why you're doing it. If you're using it because you fancy it, and it's a social lubricant, and it's something that's enjoyable, who would I be to tell you shouldn't do that?
You, Mr. Amsterdam. But it's not just.
But if you're drinking to numb, if you're drinking to numb feelings that are painful, and you've got no other way of doing it apart from getting slossed every night, then clearly
that's shocking. That's horrible.
That's a problem.
Right? And I would say it's huge. I would say it's absolutely huge.
Exactly. Because they say in AA, the best thing about giving up alcohol is all your emotions come back. And the worst thing about giving up alcohol is all your emotions come back.
Yeah. I mean, apart from this weekend, where I didn't stint, to be honest, because it was this lovely family 2-day thing, I have eased up on my drinking enormously. Absolutely enormously. Not from a moral viewpoint or anything like that. I just thought, I want to take back control. And they're empty calories. Actually, more to the point, they're empty calories. And that's it, That's kind of what it is, more than anything else. Do I need it? No. Do I want it? Sometimes, but not always have to,
And that sounds pretty healthy to me.
It was like if I stopped buying wine in the supermarket, right? I stopped doing it. Because if it's in the fridge or on the side, you're going to have it. It's not the end of the world, You're not freebasing. You're not sticking a needle full of heroin in your arm. It's a glass of wine. It's not the end of the world, right? Let's not be so litigious and so prescriptive.
No, you don't want to go. You don't want to go from one extreme. You don't want to white knuckle it. You don't want to go from one extreme to the other.
Ian and Surbiton, Dean Martin joke. Oh, God's sake, yeah. It's I don't understand this. I wonder if Ian's joking. Never seen a psychiatrist, but the hypnotherapist told me to go away. I can't be hypnotized. I've tried. I just can't do it. I'd quite like to, but I can't do it at all.
Have you ever been so engrossed in something that you're doing that someone has walked in the room and you didn't even know they were there?
Frequently. Okay. And I leap. I nearly hit the ceiling when it happens.
Right. Let me ask you another one. Have you ever driven a long journey and you get there completely safely and you can't remember how the hell you got there?
Most times, yeah.
Right. Then you have been hypnotized. That is a form of trance. Both of those things are a form of trance. Let's be clear.
The work, yeah.
It's called highway hypnosis, the latter one.
That was a track by AC/DC. Highway hypnosis.
That was Highway to Hell.
Or if you're going to the north of England, Highway to Hull. It's worrying with the driving thing because I'm yes, I know. I'm concentrating always. I'm always concentrating because I think the road's full of maniacs these days. It just got worse and worse and worse.
So what you're saying is you've got a one-pointed focus. You're focused on one thing and one thing alone to the exclusion of everything else, right?
Pretty much.
And that's how to create a state of trance. And all the hypnotic inductions are designed to get you to do that, to give you a one-pointed focus. Notice what you notice. Notice what you notice.
But when they start with, you're on a beach. Okay. Obviously, I'm not. You're on a beach. You hear the sound of the waves. Okay. And you're feeling safe. Nothing. Nothing happens at all. I'm not on a beach. Just nothing. I'd like to be, but I ain't.
then they haven't found the right induction for you. But you have definitely been, we all have, in a state of trance. If you've experienced that thing where you get there and you can't remember how you got there, but you know you got there safely, but that's all you can remember.
But you don't remember every road, every traffic light, every turn on any trip, do you?
No, but you still got there safely. How did you do that?
By concentrating.
Exactly. One point of focus of concentration, that is a form of trance. Same as if you're watching a TV show and you're really engrossed in it. That's trance.
Is it?
Yes. I'll stay asleep. He'll tell you.
What does he know? I find that fascinating.
Well, apart from possibly revolutionising the whole psychological industry.
Yeah, but apart from that,
he doesn't know much really. What's he ever given us?
What's he done? What's he done apart from that? I find that fascinating about trance. I didn't think about that because I always think about trance is like you're a zombie.
No.
But when you're driving, you're in a very heightened state of, well, hopefully, of awareness. You know, you're relaxed, but you're very aware.
Yes, it's a different type of awareness, and it makes you malleable, I suppose, to suggestion.
All right, this is interesting. Hypnotherapist just chatted to me. I thought nothing was happening until he said, "I'm going to tell you to raise your arm, but you must stop it raising." It went up. I was under and didn't know it. Wow. Whoa. But there again, I'm such a control freak. Maybe there's a huge part of me that just won't allow somebody else to take control because I'm not comfortable.
Well, no, but this is a myth of hypnosis. You are in control.
But he couldn't stop his. Hang on. Whoa. You're saying that, and there's Ian. He couldn't stop his arm raising.
He could have if he'd have went, no, I don't want to do this. You break out straight away, I think.
But he didn't know he was under hypnosis. See, it's complicated. He didn't know he was under hypnosis, right?
But about being a zombie, other people taking control of you. That's the reason why people fear hypnosis, and they're myths. You are in control. You're being guided by a kind, gentle practitioner, but you are still in control.
Interesting. It's interesting.
You know, and there's lots of fears around it. Yeah, because people think, oh, well, they're going to take me over, or they're going to make me do things I don't want to do, or I'll be like a zombie. But that's all fears. They're all fears. Real hypnotherapy is very gentle, and we go in and out of trance, as I've said, all day.
So when you see these, I call them vaudeville acts.
It's because the people on stage doing it want to be doing it.
Yeah, precisely.
I genuinely look for. They look for people who are going to be, value for money, and they will reject. Look how Darren Brown does it. He knows exactly who he's looking for.
Yeah, he's extraordinary. But he tells you it's a trick.
I know.
That's what I think is amazing. God, I'd love to meet Darren Brown. I would so like to meet him. He's fascinating. Oh, now you see, that's just rude.
See, that's just rude, isn't it?
You held out the hand of friendship, and Ian of Surbiton spat.
I know, but you got to watch these Surbitonnians.
Yeah, they're sunny.
Just because they got a Waitrose.
That makes
we've got a Waitrose in New
very different. Then they've got organic avocados.
Mm. Barnaby, put that down. We don't need Parmesan cheese for both houses. Heard in Waitrose.
Very good. Here's the thing, Longie. When you see those shows and people say that, when I click my fingers, you're a chicken or some nonsense. I'm of the belief they always wanted to do it. They wanted to show off.
Yes, they do.
Their friends
absolutely
in the theatre. I would, I wasn't going to put the challenge out. I defy you to turn me into a chicken because I wouldn't fancy that at all. But I find it very odd. I think if you didn't want to do it on a deep level, if you didn't want to, but I've seen these people close up working. I did a whole tour with them, years ago, and Tarrant took the south. Chris Tarrant took the south of England. I took the north of England, and we did a huge tour for Thomas Cook, as it was. And one of the routines was, the chair was electric. But the chair wasn't electric. It was a random chair.
Yeah.
And the guy couldn't sit in it. He was getting electric shocks. It was a chair. I'm looking at it, and it wasn't a trick chair, because he said, if you don't trust it, pick any chair you like. And he went out in the audience, brought another chair back, couldn't sit down because of the shocks. And then the other thing he couldn't do was stand up. And every night for a couple of weeks we did this tour. Every night I'd look at this going, how is this possible?
This is how it works. You've got a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. And if I'm wrong here, Dave Sleet, jump in and correct me. Okay. Now, the conscious mind is only very small. It can only hold a small amount of information at once, but the subconscious is vast, and it holds all our memories, all our beliefs, everything. Okay. That's why it's said the world is very unconscious. We're all running on our unconscious minds. If you sort of talk about spiritual talk, the world is very unconscious. You know what I mean? And the opposite of that is consciousness and levels of, right? Okay, but that's got a little bit deep. But the thing with the unconscious is it creates automatically. It doesn't have, the conscious mind is the critical factor. That's why if you're under hypnosis, I couldn't say go and jump off a cliff and you go, all right, then like a lemming and do it. You wouldn't, because the conscious mind would go, no, that's the gatekeeper. But with hypnosis, it's to get the conscious mind, the critical factor, if you like, out of the way, to being open to the suggestions, which then can be transformative. But as we've seen through Derren Brown, the mind is very powerful. People have been under hypnosis and have been told, for example, this vape is a red hot poker. They put it on their arm comes up in a blister.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, isn't it?
Huh?
It's extraordinary.
Yeah. It's the power of the mind. And that's the whole point of the Derren Brown show, Miracle, when he's doing those healings as a sort of Christian evangelical faith healer. And he's told all the audience watching he's a complete fake, and yet they're getting physical results. Why? And he says at the end, the miracle is us. Yes. We've got the power. It's just tapping it. But we don't believe we've got the power. So we don't. There's a thought.
Neil will continue this on Wednesday.
I'm talking to a private detective on Wednesday. I think we're going to have to keep her anonymous and not actually put her on screen, just voice only maybe. But I'm really looking forward to that show. It's going to be an interesting show. It's got some good guests lined up.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got some good guests lined up, so I'm looking forward to
that. So
it's been lovely. Thanks for watching today.
on Wednesday with Neil. Yes, thank you very, very much. And Longie will be back on Wednesday.
I look forward to that. Thanks for your interaction, everyone. Even Ian in Surbiton. I'll even allow you today. Love you, man.
We'll meet again. Bye-bye.